What does it do to the nerves? When you're in this position of abnormal alignment, and both of us are sitting up tall right now, so we're in a state of free-flowing, ideal nerves. Well, we're in that poor posture. When you're in that poor position, the way I like to think of it is it's like static. Like a radio station. In between two radio stations, there's that static sound. That's what the nerves are doing when we're not in that ideal position. And when you get your spinal adjustment...
Like a 35-year-old marriage.
Stagnation. So what you do is you realign that spine, and you're tuning in. You're getting your body to flow better, the nerves to flow better. And what does that mean scientifically? Well, the blood's flowing more effectively. The communication between the brain and body through those nerves are working more ideally. They're firing quicker. They're firing with more balance.
My name is John Levine, and I'm a certified health coach determined to help people reclaim health and happiness. My approach to health is compassion and looking at the whole person and understanding each person's unique set of health issues. I can and will help you reverse the chronic health issues you're dealing with. I hope you enjoy my show, The Whole Truth Podcast. Thank you for the support, and God bless you, my friends.
Welcome, everyone, to the Whole Truth Podcast with John Levine, powered by Shackley, creating healthier lives, natural, safe, and 100% guaranteed, and by Dean's Natural Food Markets with 5 locations in Ocean, Shrewsbury, Basking Ridge, Chester, and Metuchen. We are here with Dr. Thomas D'Andrea. He is the owner of Monmouth Pain and Rehabilitation, a multidisciplinary center for pain management and rehabilitation. After graduating Rutgers University in 1992, Dr. D'Andrea went on to study at Life University School of Chiropractic in Marietta, Georgia, and graduated in 1997. And we're going to talk about integrative health, the integrative approach from a structural standpoint, right?
That's right, John.
That's right. And we had a call, and I remember I'm like, what's the integrative approach? And you're like, well, there's a nutrition approach, and then there's a structural approach. So what is your integrative approach? And what is there's the integrative approach, and then there's your integrative approach. What is it?
Right. Well, in general, there's a movement in healthcare towards holistic care. That's, I think, spins off into a concept of integration. There can be a functional type of medicine, functional medical approach, which really is based in the internal medicine arena. What do I mean by that? That means take some blood work. Let's see what's going on inside. Let's get the cells working right, the blood working right. That's an inside out type of approach. And by the way, an amazingly effective approach. To complement that, I like, and the focus of my practice is more of an outside in approach. Outside meaning gravity, the body. What is your body doing in space? How it's interacting structurally in the environment. Working your body back into its ideal position. Ultimately, John, we got to carry this body for hopefully well over 100 years. Got to maintain the structure well. This is a vehicle. This is a vehicle for those internal structures, for those internal processes to function. Structure dictates function. So in our practice, our focus is that structure.
Mr. Positive. I like that. Over 100 years, that works for me. As long as I'll live to be over 100 years as long as I am feeling good. Quality over quantity. 100 years of good quality. I got to go see you if I have pain management, right? So what are the approaches that you offer in your clinics?
Well, the first approach, the general Monmouth Pain and Rehabilitation, multidisciplinary, we call it multidisciplinary integrative approach to wellness, to pain management. Number one, chiropractic care. That's very posturally oriented.
One, because it's in order, like first should be chiropractic? Or
probably more so because I'm a chiropractor, so I'm mentioning that first.
Oh, there you go.
It not in any necessary order of importance or significance.
Okay,
because
gotcha.
It is that integration of all equal factors. So, chiropractic, physical therapy,
yep,
and acupuncture. We also get into a little bit of nutrition. We have pain management physicians on board, medical doctors and osteopaths that are more holistically oriented. We're not prescribing opioids in our practice. Instead, we're working towards more natural gel types of injections, things that are going to help in the most conservative way possible to alleviate pain.
Alternative, unconventional, holistic. These are all the words that we hear these days. Some people understand them, and some people say, what the heck is holistic? What is alternative, and what is unconventional? How would you describe it? Because some people are like, what's the evidence? What is this holistic? I'm telling you, seriously, this happened last night on Facebook, and I don't like to get into it on Facebook, but someone reached out and said, what is a holistic? I am a certified holistic health coach. And they're like, holistic is nonsense. What's holistic? And that's actually what made me think about this question. What is holistic? What's integrative? What's unconventional? Does this stuff work?
Yeah, I think to answer that question,
You know where I'm going with this.
I do. I don't like the short answer on this one, John. I like to kind of step back and say, let's look at conventional for a second. Can I do that? Can we go this approach?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Let me
Sure.
give you a question with a question.
Yep.
In 1955, this drug was used. It was used in 1955 to treat schizophrenia and was considered by Life magazine to be the treatment of the future for depression. Give a guess.
Well, that's too early for Vioxx. That's not Vioxx. Is it Vioxx?
It is not Vioxx.
No, that's not Vioxx. That's way too early for Vioxx.
And I know you have a background in
I do.
the pharmaceutical field, so you may have some insights here. 1955, to treat schizophrenia, considered by Life magazine to be the treatment of the future for depression. What drug?
It is escaping me right now. What is it?
LSD.
LSD.
LSD. Yeah. So they
I
thought
like
that to be the treatment of the future.
That's right.
So think about that concept. Think about how crazy that is. So if that's crazy today for what they were saying is the drug of the future, so it's 60 whatever years ago.
Yeah.
What drugs are we prescribing today that they're going to say 50, 60 years from now? Like, wow, what were they thinking? What were they crazy? So that's conventional. That's conventional medicine, this outside-in approach, but not an outside-in approach that deals with the structure and function, but instead one that just really in many cases is driven by money, it's driven by profits, and it's geared towards simply alleviating pain, but really to put money in people's pockets.
Yeah, that's my opinion on it for the most part. And people who listen to my show know that's my opinion because I say it over and over and a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but that is my opinion of it. It's Band-Aid medicine, disease management. I think that what becomes difficult, and this is where you can help us out, is it always seems to become a war, not a fight. And when you fight, it just doesn't work out. So like vegan versus non-vegan, right? So vegan people against, the people who eat meat. And it becomes this big battle. So then it becomes, in my mind, holistic versus conventional, or conventional versus unconventional. Western medicine's the way to go. No, Eastern medicine is the way to go. But why can't we? Here's the question. Why can't we just, and this is what I don't understand that other people don't understand, why can't we just look at the whole picture? This is why it's the whole truth. And I don't understand why this is so confusing. All holistic means, in my mind, is that I'm looking at Dr. DeAndrea, and I'm looking at mind, body, and soul. I'm looking at your feet. I'm looking at your nose. I'm looking at your ears. I'm hearing about your story. I'm trying to learn everything about you. Why did you come into my clinic? Why did you, where do you have pain? Is it sciatica? Did you run for 20 years? Do you love sports? Do you hate sports? That's all it means. At least in my mind, that's all it means. And it's a very logical approach to health in my mind. And I don't understand what the other side gets so mad about.
Yeah, and I see that you ran into this argument last night.
I swear to God, last night.
And so
last night. I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to call them out and say who they were, but yeah.
And I think it's really a lack of knowledge and lack of understanding, because you're here, you're the whole truth. You're working towards uncovering that truth. What does that mean on a deeper level? Well, awareness, helping people understand. And I think the common denominator, what really bridges the gap between East and West, is this idea, is really founded in awareness. As you learn, as you become more knowledgeable, you then, by the nature of it all, become more holistic. That is your mind, your body, and spirit working together to help you be whole, to help you be optimal.
Right.
And health, you said earlier, you don't want to be 100 and not feel well. Well, no doubt, none of us do. Health is not merely the absence of disease. Health is really all about your body functioning at its best and your body functioning optimally. And too many times in this conventional model, it's about the meds, it's about the drugs, it's about these medications and drugs, which have so many different side effects. On the other end, on this alternative end, which really isn't alternative, on this holistic end, the idea of East and West coming together, the idea of, well, again, we have our team. We have our medical doctors, our chiropractors, our physical therapists, our acupuncturists who work side by side. We collaborate. We sit down every single morning and talk about every patient who's coming in that day. So that collaboration, that is the basis of holistic care. Again, knowledge, awareness. Let's understand you. You come into my office, John. What are your goals? That's more in your mind. What are you feeling? That's in your body. And what are you looking to accomplish here with us? Let's put this all together. So, well, a lot of people come in, if they're in 9 out of 10 pain, they don't want to talk about lifetime goals and wellness. They want to get out of pain. All right, cool. Well, let's do that. Let's get out of pain as conservatively as possible.
That brings me to this question. So what kind of, what's the condition that you see most often? Like what kind of pain, like what kind of condition? Most prevalent?
Most prevalent would be back pain. Back pain followed by neck pain, followed by knee pain, followed by shoulder pain.
From what? From a lot of different things, I'm sure, but like from mainly...
Mostly, that's a great question. Mostly chronic. It mostly builds up over time. It's people that have ignored. They've ignored their bodies, and the bodies have slowly worn down and broken down. Now, here's the difference. Conventional medicine, you have a pain, you take an Advil. You have a pain, you take some Tylenol. You have pain, you take all these things which are Band-Aids, which cover up the underlying cause, which cover up the issue.
Right.
We're looking to get to that cause, get to the cause of the issue. So where do these people come in? They come in chronic because they've ignored it. And that's why I like to say, let's go to awareness first. Let's help you understand where this thing came from. And no, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be a quick fix.
Well, let's use me as an example because I am an example. So I have sciatica. I did a little bit too much. I did some Ironman, triathlons, a couple marathons. I'm 200 pounds. I'm not exactly built like a marathon runner, but to me that was part of the challenge. And I beat up my body a little bit. I do enjoy running. I love like that runner's high, but I've beat up my body a little bit. So I have sciatica. I try to manage it. I do a pretty good job of managing it. I think it starts from my mind, me personally. And I think, but so like someone like me that would walk in with back pain, and when I feel like when I'm more stressed than not, that's when it kind of really kicks in. How would you deal with someone like me?
First, I want to hear your story, which you shared part of it. I want to go into a little bit more. I want to know about your history. I want to know about the things that you've done to your body over the years. I want to know about, have there been any other traumas? Have there been any car accidents?
Let's do it, yeah.
And then, so once I put all that together, once I hear that, I'm going to then go objective. So I've listened to you, now I'm going to go objective. What do I mean by that? Let's get into some diagnostic testing. Okay. Let's take some x-rays. Let's look at your back. Let's see it. Let's see it in black and white. Let's see how you move. Let's do some orthopedic examinations. Let's get some information together. Let's couple it with what you've shared with me, and then let's put together a treatment plan to get this thing corrected.
Okay. And the treatment being, so like what are the kind of pain, so I think when people think pain management, or at least even for me, when I think pain management, I think you go and you get something kind of Western-y,
yeah,
and you alleviate the pain by getting medication. But what is your kind of pain management? Like what is pain
our
management?
Pain management is holistic pain management. It's integrative pain management. It's a natural approach to pain management. So you're coming in, we're going to do that examination, we're going to take those x-rays, we're going to see what's going on, and we're going to start conservatively, and which actually has been proving over and over again in the Western literature to be the most effective way to get people out of pain. So that means chiropractic treatment, that means acupuncture which improves circulation, which eliminates or reduces inflammation. We look at physical therapy for stabilization work once we've made progress with some of these issues.
Another question I get all the time, I see all the time, is where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Is there evidence to prove that acupuncture, chiropractic, these types of things work? Because this, I mean, I'm sure you get this all the time.
I do, and that's why I brought
ready
my
and
notes. I'm like, let's do it.
Let's go. Okay.
Let's go. 2015 European Spine Journal, one of the premier journals in the world, European Spine Journal 2015. They did a very extensive study on the impact of quality of life as it relates to the spine. What they found, interestingly, was when you have abnormal alignment in your spine, when you have abnormal posture in your spine, it has a significant, a very profound effect on your quality of life. Not necessarily just pain, but how you function, how you breathe. We see so many people that sit at computers and we're on our cell phones and we're all this technology. What does that do to our shoulders? It rounds us forward.
Look at me.
Well, guess
I'm always trying to.
Now, let's just use what's housed inside of this rib cage of ours. What important lung, and there's one on what important organ, one on each side. I gave it away. The lungs. Well, when our shoulders round forward, the research, as it was stated here in this European Spine Journal, affects the way we breathe and eventually leads to degenerative disease in our lungs. So this structural approach to healthcare, to not just pain, but to general overall health, is extensively studied throughout the literature. There's thousands and thousands of studies now which support evidence-based and peer-reviewed scientific literature, the effectiveness of acupuncture, the effectiveness of chiropractic, and then, of course, physical therapy.
Yeah, I will get those up because people ask me that all the time, and I will put those slides up. So if you're listening, you cannot see them, but if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, there's my plug, you will see those slides. I will put them up. European Spine Journal, is that what it was?
Yeah, European Spine Journal, January 24th, 2015. Great study that came out on that, most extensive to date on the spine alignment and its effects on health.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. And acupuncture.
Oh, yeah. Well, not in that particular study, but
right. But there's other studies.
Yeah, and then it's not just 10,000 years of, and that's what you hear. Well, it's been around for 10,000 years. So that's cool, but when you could study it and prove it based on Western scientific standards, that's even cooler. And that's what we have today.
But and we'll check that stuff out. But don't you think that, like, stuff that's been around for 10,000 years, don't you think there's got to be some validity to it? If it's not, if it's junk, it's just not going to stick around, is it? If it doesn't work, would it just continue? I don't think
it would become obsolete. Why would you keep doing it?
I think, right?
Yeah.
To me, that kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. It's tested time, and it's proven itself to be still useful.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, and this is what I want people to understand. The getting back to holistic, because I think it's very important. All we're saying, and I think I could speak for you, Dr. D'Andrea, all we're saying is that we're going to look, maybe chiropractic works for you, maybe it doesn't. Maybe acupuncture works for you, maybe it doesn't. I'm sure there's tons of benefits in this study in 2015. I want to hear all about it. I'm sure it's great. But we're all different. They're all different situations. And ultimately, find out what works for you. And I'll even say Western medicine, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you know what? In some cases, some people are so, like, they want Western medicine so much that maybe they've actually, their mind is so in tune to Western medicine that it actually does work. You know what I mean? It's almost like the mind has gotten to the point where, you know what? This Advil is going to work. And it actually works because you
believed you talked yourself into it to a certain degree. And now, so what did it work to do? Maybe it worked for a minute. It certainly didn't work to fix your disc issue if it's a disc issue in your back.
Right.
And I'm not anti-medication. I'm not anti-medical. There's a place for that. It's overutilized, and it's oftentimes overutilized for the wrong reasons.
Right. Well, right.
So ultimately, the medications save lives. physicians, some of my best friends are different surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, neurosurgeons, and they're out there. These guys and gals are out there saving lives every day. And my job is to work to correct issues and problems conservatively, as naturally, conservatively, and holistically as possible, so that these people don't have to go to that next level of the surgery, which has all of its own types of side effects and effectiveness issues.
Right. So, and some prevention. I mean, obviously, people who are coming to see you, they have problems. They have something that needs to be fixed, but also prevention. Let's not get to the next level of pain, not to the next level.
Once we fix it, once we correct your back, once we correct your sciatic issue, once we show you those stabilization exercises with our physical therapists on how to ensure this never comes back again, we want you to pop in once a month for what we call a tune-up. You come in for your tune-up. You come in for your acupuncture. You come in for your chiropractic adjustment at that time. And what does that do? It helps your body be more balanced. It helps your body, and that's proven as well. It helps your body, the circulation work better, your nervous system to function better, and overall, you exist in a better state of ease.
That's a perfect segue because you just stole my thunder. So someone who doesn't have back pain or a lot of pain, they feel okay. They would still benefit from chiropractic? They would still benefit from acupuncture?
Yes. We have many people who come in, they've embraced this idea of holistic wellness, of integrative care. And they come in on a regular basis. Some people once a week, every other week, but typically about once a month for just come in and get their tune-up, to get their adjustment, and to get their chiropractic spinal adjustment, and to get their acupuncture. See, gravity does not let up on us. Gravity is here; it's a constant. So that's a stress. That's constantly weighing down on our shoulders, on our spine, on our hips, on our knees. So to get realigned regularly enables your body, prevents you from that degenerative postural process.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit even more. So, detail it, so exactly, what is it doing to the nervous system? How exactly is that, am I benefiting from?
Let's start from the abnormal state, okay? Let's talk about a bad posture. Let's talk about spinal alignment. Let's take pain out of it for a second, because we could talk about that, but just look at abnormal alignment, abnormal posture. The way I like to think about it, John, and how it affects the...
All I know is the whole time I've been interviewing you, I'm making sure that I'm like,
you do keep sitting up.
You see it, right?
Good. Well done.
Yeah.
I'm that awareness for a lot of people.
It's good.
Awareness. Wake up, man.
Yeah,
wake up.
yeah.
We talked about that. It's
good.
Wake up.
Don't slump over.
So what does it do to the nerves? When you're in this position of abnormal alignment, and both of us are sitting up tall right now, so we're in a state of free-flowing, ideal nerves. Well, we're in that poor posture. When you're in that poor position, the way I like to think of it is it's like static. Like a radio station. In between two radio stations, there's that static sound. That's what the nerves are doing when we're not in that ideal position. And when you get your spinal adjustment...
It's like a 35-year-old marriage.
Stagnation. So what you do is you realign that spine, and you're tuning in. You're getting your body to flow better, the nerves to flow better. And what does that mean scientifically? Well, the blood's flowing more effectively. The communication between the brain and body through those nerves are working more ideally. They're firing quicker. They're firing with more balance.
All right, so the body is built to do a job when it's, the structure is correct, when you're on the cell phone, when you're hunched over, when gravity has taken a toll on you, when you're doing too many marathons, whatever, and just wear and tear on your body. You come in to your clinics, you readjust, you just kind of putting the body back to where it needs to be.
Correct.
Is that?
Oh, yeah.
It's just the body does what the body does perfectly, and you're just putting it back.
That's it.
Where it needs to be.
Yep. Structure dictates function. We put the body in a more structurally ideal position, and it functions as it's designed to function.
So it's like a puzzle, right? So like a puzzle, there's some pieces of the puzzle that are missing to the puzzle. The puzzle is perfect when the whole thing's put together. You got to put those pieces back into the puzzle. Once the puzzle's back, it's perfect. You can hang it up.
That's correct.
But I guess the wear and tear throughout.
That's a
every
great
day.
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily treat any particular symptom. Like, you're going to come in with this back pain. Yeah, I'm going to hear you out. You're going to come in with this nerve issue. We're going to hear you out. We're going to do our analysis. We're going to analyze. But ultimately, whether you have that sciatic issue or not, I'm going to look at the spine the same way. I'm going to take that X-ray. I'm going to see how the stresses and strains are being placed on your body. I'm going to look at your functional examination, how your body moves and where its restrictions are, and that's the majority of how I gear my treatment plan.
Yeah, you know what? Getting back to me, I was in a lot of pain for many years, and I tried everything. And I think for me, I finally realized what was going on. I think that the stress is crazy, because this is where the mind, body, and soul comes into play. The stress of going from doctor to doctor to doctor and being told, don't. John, don't run. John, don't play sports anymore. John, you can't play basketball. I was told, don't, and you can't. And I think to this day, I believe that these are the things that I love to do. I love playing basketball. I love doing triathlons. And when I was told, don't do it, and I can't do it, and when you go to the gym, don't do this. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some things you can do in the gym. There's some safe exercises. But the majority of my experience was don't. Yes, I know you're writing down fear. Fear in the mind becomes emotional stress, which is connected to my body. And it ran down, into my, spine, and that my sciatica was worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is something I figured out on my own, just going through the process, which just goes to show you that everybody, you know you better than anybody.
You are your own best doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I was able to anyone can figure it out. I mean, doctor doesn't know best. I mean, let's be serious. Doctors are incredible. Love doctors, but you know best. But I was able to kind of figure it out. And ironically, I had to get rid of all that fear. I had a coffee cup. Here's my analogy. I had a coffee cup that was just overflowing with coffee. It's just water, whatever you want to call it. It was just overflowing. I needed to take all that fear and start spilling it out and getting it out, getting that crap out of my head. And to this day, I now do expressive writing, which I don't know if you know about what that is, but you're basically, the idea is to write stuff out. It doesn't matter how you write it, just write it and get that crap out of your head. Anything that you're angry about, write it down. Damn it, my wife pissed me off, my husband pissed me off, this, and you write it down. And the idea is that you're getting it out of your head. And it's kind of like EFT and tapping, emotional freedom technique, where, and again, people, try it. It may work for some people, it may not work for others, but for me, it worked.
Well, you're taking down that was a lot of static. That fear that you were alluding to, the don't, that builds up walls and further walls and more tension,
God.
More stress. And you let it out. You took the pressure out of the valve, and you let the pressure out.
But what was amazing was there's no doubt, because I got MRIs and CAT scans. There's damage in my L5, or what's the bottom?
Yeah, the L5S1.
The L5S1. There's damage. There's no question. There's damage. There's fluid leaking. There's all sorts of damage. God knows what's there now, but I don't even want to know. But maybe that's a good thing. So, but it was the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
That was making things so much worse.
Right.
And I wanted to throw that out there because.
And that mind piece, and that's a big piece. One of the things that we practice in our practice, we have these what we call our core values, and we have these series of core values. One of them deals with this idea of just being so tuned into the patient's feelings and needs. Where are their fears? And we're not psychologists, but what we are good listeners. We're here to not be on our agenda, but to be on your agenda.
Right.
You come to Mom with Pain, you're not going to hear a whole lot of don'ts. You're going to hear a whole lot of, what do you want to do? What are you looking to accomplish? All right, cool. Let's get you there.
Yeah, I definitely feel there's got to be a positive and then a negative and then a positive. The positive can get things going in the right direction. The love, the can get things going in the right direction. The negative, just negative can just get things going in the wrong. And you know where I'm going with this. I mean, it's a pain thing. It's a fear. I mean, you wrote it down. Here's another thing I'm going to throw at you, which I don't know if you ever heard of. Dr. Emoto is a Japanese researcher. He passed away, but he did a study on water. So some people, this is just so cool. I'm sure it's debatable, but I think it's so cool. So, like, is water living? Some people, water's not living. Some people say water is living. And he wanted to, I don't know that he wanted to prove anything, but he did 3 things of water. He wrote love on one, on the left. The one in the middle was ignored, and the one on the right was hate. And they literally said, like, incredible things, like, to the water. It sounds hokey. It sounds nuts. Like,
I read the book. It's called the Hidden Messages Inside of Water or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So like
so cool.
You say all
but
these.
The images, the pictures, like that you saw what the water did under the microscope, right?
Yes.
Like that was incredible.
Listen, energy. You can't see energy. I use the CANT word. I don't like that word, but you can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
It is there.
The energy might be one of those faith things, one of those you just have to. It's there, and you don't really know. You can't prove it, but you know it.
Well, why? Like let's use a sports analogy, right? With energy. Like, why do let's go back to basketball. So why do the Golden State Warriors? Why do they play better at home? They play great anywhere, but why do they play better at home than they do on the road? Why do teams play better? It's the same court, same teams, same 5-on-5.
Yeah, same hoops, same size,
same thing. Why does it work out that the home team has an advantage in basketball almost all the time over the road team?
Yeah,
why is it so hard to go on the road?
Better juju at home. But what is the juju, right?
What is the juju?
What is that juju? There's something there.
Nothing's changed, right? I mean, you could say, well, listen, there's the majority of the fans are Warrior fans and they're rooting for the Warriors.
But so what?
But that's energy.
Yeah, that's the energy. Now, when you walk into our office, we embrace that idea and agree with you so much that that's part of this process that we, from the moment you walk in, the look of the place, the cleanliness of the location, the clinics, the friendliness of the staff, it's all part of that experience. One of our core values is to deliver 5-star service. We want you to walk in and feeling like each person that walks in, it's this family and team spirit. And you're here. We're here for you. What can we do for you? What can we do for you, John? You know, like and that's what it is. It's all smiles. It's all love, and that brings people up. That gives us an advantage, and we do that behind the scenes. That we don't wear that out, but you feel it.
Right.
But we know that gives us an advantage to enable us to get better outcomes for our patients. If you found us first before all that, those no's and can'ts and fear and don'ts, well, that probably would have resolved this issue a long time ago. You walk in and we're like, all right, dude, let's go. Let's get this thing better now. What do you want to accomplish? And then we go at it.
Yeah, and I don't think, I don't think they did anything wrong necessarily, but it just goes to show you how, I don't know, that relationship, that positive experience, that it's become such a negative thing. The the blood pressure, high blood pressure, it goes up. What do they call it? White coat fever, I think. Like, it goes up when you're in a doctor's office.
Right. It's the normal stress of being in that environment, and you're not sure what they're going to tell you, and there's fear, and that's actually part of the reason why we have our practice designed the way we do. It's a big open setting. So there's not a lot of rooms and corridors and corners. You're like, what's going on down there, over here? You walk in, you're like, okay, I see everything in front of me.
Gotcha.
That's part of it. It's well lit. That's part of it. You walk in, wow, it's nice in here. Feels good. Okay, cool. What's
Gotcha.
next?
So you tell the staff basically, look, you have to have compassion, you have to be caring, you have to.
We don't bring people on unless they are that.
Yeah. And where are the clinics?
We are in Shrewsbury.
Okay.
We're out in Freehold. We're down in Wall.
Awesome.
And then down in Lacey, Forked River.
In Forked River. Awesome. Well, I like it. I like what you're doing. What else you got for me? I see your notes.
Oh man, what do you want to talk about? Let's get into it. Let's talk about how crazy this world is and how we're out here to help wake people up and shake them up and help get them living a better life. And that's what it's all about. I love that wellness idea. We love fixing people up. I love what you're doing here. I went into some of your other podcasts and talking about vaccinations and talking about just autism and all these are just such great ideas. I love what you're doing, and this is our community, like this community of wellness, community of awareness, of holistic integrated wellness. This is the momentum. People need to hear this message, and so that when you go to less and less of those battles like you were in last night of, oh, where's the proof on this holistic? No, that's nonsense. It's not only is the research there, but it's intuitively not correct.
I'll show you. And part of me was like, you know what, John? What the hell are you doing on 11 o'clock at night on your phone? Practice what you preach. You should not have screen time right before you go to bed. Why are you in this fight on Facebook, which I was not in a fight? I'm going to show you, actually.
Well, when someone says holistic means nonsense, they're just really poking at you. They're trying.
It's just trying to fight.
They're just trying to fight you out.
You have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got something I pulled up.
Yeah.
While you were pulling that up, I got something. There's you may have heard of this guy. His name is Bruce Lipton. He wrote. Yeah, he's a cellular stem cell biologist. He studied in an electron microscope. He just stared in a microscope for 20 years, and he studied genes, genetics, and what he found was something really fascinating that I love to talk about because it really opens up who we are and what we are. Here's how he stated it. We have been led to believe that our genes, our genetics, determine the character of our lives. In other words, you have your genetic expression, and that's kind of who you are. And that's a common theme in really Western thinking.
Right.
So we have been led to believe that our genes determine the character of our lives. Yet new research reveals that it is the character of our lives that controls our genes.
So the genes determine what, like a certain amount of, like obviously some genetic things that you inherit, but they don't, overtake everything. There's ways to turn things on and turn things off.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what he's saying?
That's what he's saying. That switch of turning things on.
What's his name?
Bruce Lipton, Lipton. So what he's suggesting there is that how you feel about yourself, how you live your life, how you believe, what your beliefs are, and your thought process on who you are and who you can become is more important on your genes and more important on how you can actually live your life. So it basically opens you up to having ultimate freedom, which I love that idea. You're not stuck with any particular disease. You're not stuck with any particular condition. You have the opportunity to, through your mind, open up the possibilities. Now, will you possibly need support? And will that support sometimes serendipitously show up in your life? Yes, maybe you have to actually work hard to go after it, but it starts in your mind with the belief that you can heal, that you want, that you can get better, that you can change, that you can live a better life.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. I'm totally on board. I believe the mind body medicine, man. It's mind body medicine. Dr. Benjamin Alter, if you're listening, you'll love this. This is my guy out in California. I love this guy. He's great. He was on the podcast too. It's mind body medicine. It works. Or brain body, but mind body, and you can turn this stuff on and off. You can turn, like you could say cancer runs in my family or diabetes runs in my family. No question, like diabetes runs in my family. It does. There's been a lot of people who have had diabetes in my family. So potentially I'm at risk for diabetes a little bit more than other people may be, which that is probably true. That does not mean that I'm going to get diabetes.
Absolutely not.
because I am not going to get diabetes.
no way.
I will overcome that genetic predisposition.
That's correct. You
I
absolutely
will overcome that genetic predisposition of diabetes.
And then from there, you'll put what will you do with that? So you have your mantra, you make your statement, then you fill it up with knowledge, awareness, and you take steps in that direction towards living a better life and prevention of those diseases. You'll cut down on your sugar. You will limit your carbohydrate intake to 50 grams with low glycemic index, and like you'll do all these things that you know are going to keep your body in the best possible shape.
But it starts with the mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he was. So did he? Was he a doctor? What kind of? Was he a researcher?
Researcher. Yeah.
Oh, researcher.
Yeah, researcher.
That's right.
Full-on researcher, PhD.
PhD.
Stem cell biologist. The dude just looking inside in a microscope over 20 years started seeing things happening that were just very unconventional, and he saw the switch there, and that's how I love things like that, because that's how I like to educate my patients and my team. And at this point I've performed over 100,000 treatments on over 10,000 patients, and I've got to experience firsthand people that come in with a little hope versus those that come in with full despair. Those that come in complete despair, sometimes you can't turn them around. Give them the opportunity, like, hey, bud, you could do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just so down, and those are the people that don't get better. Others that come in, all right, you think so? I've already been to all these different doctors. I'm not really sure if I can get better. You inspire them. You say, yeah, you know what? I'm not sure either, but we're a team of experts, and you got a lot of different professionals here, practitioners. We're going to work together. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to do our best here to get you well. And more times than not, probably 9 times out of 10, these people are getting better. We're resolving problems.
Well, you were inspiring me to make sure that I go to a chiropractor and do some acupuncture.
Yeah.
And your clinic I'm going to have to go to.
Please do.
To get me, my nervous system and everything in tune to do what it needs to do.
That's it, man.
Prevention.
Well said. Get your body tuned up so it does what it needs to do.
Yeah. No, and I mean that. Hopefully, you have one near me in Shrewsbury, so there you go. But listen, I want to thank you for coming in. I love what you're doing. I can tell the passion that you have, the smile. I know that you care. To me, that's half the battle. The knowledge that you bring. Keep up the good work. With that, so acupuncture, chiropractic, pain management, the natural way, weight loss, nutrition. He does it all. Dr. Thomas D'Andrea. I called you Tommy.
Nah, it's cool. I go by
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah. Dr. Thomas D'Andrea. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John. Love what you're doing here.
All right. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it. All right. Adios, amigos. That's a wrap.